Welcome back to the dojo, y'all. Welcome back to the daily discussions. I'm your host, Professor Hawk Sensei, and I'm glad you can make it. I'm glad you're tuning in. Down to business, right? Today I want to talk about being careful of what you say and also mindful of what you do. If you haven't realized it, we're living in some very, very strange times where anyone could fly off at the drop of a hat at any given moment. There's a lot of people going through some serious traumatic experience in their lives right now. It could be just because of the way they view the world, politics, and all that. It could be they may have lost a loved one. It could be they're facing financial burdens like they never have before. It could be any number of reasons why somebody's having a hard time out here. I'm bringing this message to you today as to not make it harder for anybody else than it already is. Life is hard. Yes, we know this. We've heard it time and time again. And we're experiencing it day to day, right? But when I talk about be careful what you say and mindful what you do, it's mostly because you don't know what anybody's going through out here. You can't calculate it, you can't anticipate it, you can't quantify it. You probably can't fathom it. So it's imperative that when you're out and about interacting with whoever or whomever, be mindful to always be respectful. That's the best way to be. That's the golden standard of interaction when you're out in public. Now I know online you may get a little confused because people online are very abrasive, very disrespectful, very ignorant, very callous, right? But it's not the same in the world. It's not the same out there in the street. It's not the same in places of business. I know we see clips and videos every single day of something going down, something crazy happening, somebody crashing out, somebody losing their shit, somebody doing a prank, or somebody just ended up messed up because they made a mistake, like car accident, getting into a freak accident. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You never know what anybody's going through. And when somebody is at their wits' end, they're at the end of their rope, they last leg, they liable to do anything. You never know. When somebody ain't got nothing to lose, they really don't care. They'll take it to the end of the earth, to hell and back with you, because they ain't got nothing to lose and they need something or someone to take their frustrations out. Don't be that person. Don't be that guy. Don't do it. Right? You might come across somebody who just lost everything. Their wife left them, bank accounts drained, lost their job. They took the family dog and all the kids, and they about to lose the house. That person is on a crash course to crash out. The best thing you can do is stay out the way. That's the best thing you can do. Don't be out here disrespecting people, being inconsiderate. That's something else that I noticed, and this is really in public. I noticed a lot of people move with a lack of consideration. They're not really even aware of what they're doing because they're not really self-aware. Because we spend so much time interacting online or interacting with our digital devices that we neglect, or should I say, our muscles that are exercised for social activity, they begin to atrophy, meaning we lose effectiveness, we lose understanding and insight when it comes to interacting with others in the real world, because we spend the majority of our time online. Because of this, And not only that, also COVID also had a big part to play in that as well. Arrested development for people, you know, who were in those developing stages of social interaction. You know, the preteens, teenagers, and young adults. It's something Mike Tyson said. He said, people have gotten too comfortable with saying and doing things and not getting punched in the face or punched in the mouth or something like that. And that's true. The stuff that you see people do, say, and post online, you don't see it out in public. And there's a reason for that. There's a clear reason for that. When you don't have the protection of anonymity, when you're anonymous online, right? When you're face to face with somebody that you got a problem with, you got to do one or two things. Either you can handle that problem with them right then and there, or you can decide to squash it and or let it go. It's roughly the same thing, but squashing it is the better alternative because y'all both on the same page. All right, we both agree that this is not something we want to do, so we just gonna let that go. But going deeper into the subject matter of being careful what you say and mindful of what you do, I want you to always remain respectful because that's really just like, I don't want to say that's the safe way, that's just the guaranteed way to not cause problems for yourself. You know what I mean? Not cause problems for yourself. When we say be respectful, what are we talking about? We're talking about treating others with respect, speaking to others with respect. You know what I mean? In Japan, they have this thing called honorifics, meaning when you refer to somebody, you refer to them as your equal, your lesser, your superior, what have you. They have like different like phrases, like you have sama, you have kun, you have there's a lot of different ones, like, but usually it refers to the status of the person they're talking to, as well as reflecting the status of the person who's talking. So if you're talking to a superior, right, you might say senpai or sama, you know what I mean? Somebody who's above you in status or rank, you know what I mean? Sensei, senpai, that's teacher. Sama, I think that's usually lord or boss or something like that. You know what I mean? A friend, you would say their name and then put the honorific kun after it. This is what I mean when I say the Japanese culture. I feel like they got it right because when they speak to one another, they speak in terms of honor in their honor system. I am of this stature, of this status, so you refer to me in this way, right? Over here in the West, we don't have anything like that. The only time you see us using honorifics, really in any capacity, is in court when you say your honor. And it's funny that the honorific is your honor, right? But that's like the only like time we really use honorifics. We have doctors as well, lawyers. You know what I mean? A doctor, you would say doctor. That's their honorific. They're a doctor. They earned that title or that right, that rank. When you're in the military, you see that sergeant, corporal, major. You know what I mean? You see that honorific system. We need something like that in America. Seriously, we do. Because a lot of people are not mindful of their place. They're not mindful what may come off as disrespect to somebody who has higher rank, status, and or prestige. But don't get that misconstrued or constricted. Regardless of your rank, your prestige, your honor, whatever, you also have to treat everyone else with respect, the respect that you deserve. Just because you are of a higher status does not give you the right to be condescending or disrespectful to anybody else. whether they are superior or a lesser. This is really what I'm talking about. No matter where you are on the totem pole, where you are on the ladder, you must treat the next person with the utmost respect. This is how we get to live long lives and see successful endeavors and progress in life, because other people are not impeding our progress, because we're not getting in their way. So they have no reason to get in our way. That's another thing. You want to interact and deal with people who have things to lose. People who don't have anything to lose, they're going to rationalize, well, they're doing way better than me. Me stealing or taking this from them, it's not going to hurt them. They'll be all right. This is why, if you are of status or prestige, you need to not interact with people who have nothing to lose. The most respectful way I can say it. When you have things to lose, you should not interact and deal with people who do not. So if you are doing well for yourself, you have a lot going for yourself, you know what I mean? Health, wealth, all of that. You shouldn't be hanging out in poverty-stricken areas. You shouldn't be hanging out in destitute areas. I never really understood why people with thousands and thousands of dollars of jewelry and have achieved a level of notoriety in hip hop or the culture and decide to go back to the hood to hang out. I don't understand that. That's disrespectful to everybody that's in that situation, because you're just coming around there to show them how much they don't have. That's why people always would say, don't count money in public. Because you never know who's really starving and who's hungry for an opportunity to get something to eat, or to mitigate the amount of stress that they're dealing with. Money don't solve problems, but it definitely can make things a little bit better. You feel what I'm saying? So this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about careful what you say and mindful what you do. It's not, see, 90, I think it's 80 to 90% of the things that we say don't really come out of our mouth. It comes from our behaviors and our actions. That's why I not only say be careful what you say, but also mindful of what you are doing. And this also is where you are at. Different strokes for different folks. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. So what's respectful over here may not be respectful over there. You know what I mean? Like, I think littering in Japan is like a felony. Over here, nobody's really gonna care or pay no mind. That's why America's such a shit show now. Because trash, you are what you eat. And you are a reflection of your environment. So when you live in an environment that's filled with trash and decay and debris, you take on that same energy. That same defeated, dead, destitute energy. That's why when you look around in the hood, a lot of people are not well kept. What's the point of cleaning up the house? What's the point when I'm never here? There's no happiness here. Like, when people are down on their luck, and you know what I mean, they forego showers, they forego cleaning up their space, you know what I mean, and that's when roaches and insects and all type of stuff start hanging around, right? So not only that, also take care of yourself, take care of your space. This is another thing. You can start attracting things that you don't want to see simply because you're not keeping up with the maintenance on what it is that you have, where you at, the people in your life. That's something you also have to do. You have to maintain your relationships with people, especially ones that you care about. So before we close the video today, I want you to be more self-aware, because it starts and ends with you. Become more self-aware. Interact with people. See what it is that you're doing or failing to do that's rubbing people the wrong way. Sometimes just ask somebody, like, sometimes I feel like, you know what I mean, I'm a burden, or sometimes I feel like I'm bothering y'all, or sometimes I feel like, you know what I mean, I'm not understanding what it is that y'all trying to get me to see. Sometimes just connect and interact with people. Just ask questions. I can't stress this enough how important it is to ask questions. It's not always just for academia and knowing more knowledge. No, sometimes it's to gain insight and understanding of how to better interact with others. You know what I mean? This is what social interaction is for. So we can gain understanding of the others that we are interacting with, and also gain a better level of self awareness, so we know how to be respectful and responsible for all of the others in our vicinity and in our circle, what have you. Be careful what you say and mindful what you do. You never know what anybody's going through. So with that being said, Professor Hawk signing out. Hawk Sensei bid you adieu. I hope you're waking up every day with a plan, a purpose, and a smile. And if you're not waking up with a plan, a purpose, and a smile, hey, at least you're waking up. So go ahead and do me a favor. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Like because I know you like it. Share because why not? We're not stingy. We're not selfish. And last but not least, subscribe because you came back too many times not to push that button. I appreciate everybody who's stopping by, liking the video, sharing, and commenting. Appreciate you all. See you in the next one. Take care. Class dismissed.